George Clooney's marriage to human rights activist Amal Clooney has taken an unexpected turn as their kids have shared some surprising news that's left the public buzzing. What exactly did their little ones reveal, and how is it shaking things up in George and Amal's relationship? Stick around as we dig into all the juicy details. But first, let's rewind a bit and look at how George went from being one of Hollywood's most eligible bachelors to a devoted dad of two. You won't want to miss this. George Clooney used to think marriage just wasn't for him, until he met the amazing Amal Clooney, a brilliant human rights lawyer. Fast forward almost 10 years and George and Amal have become one of the most stable and glamorous couples in Hollywood. Before tying the knot, George wasn't exactly keen on settling down, while Amal was busy making a name for herself as an activist. Now it's tough to picture them apart. They truly are one of the most stunning and inspiring pairs in Tinseltown. Let's take a trip down memory lane and revisit their incredible love story. George Clooney has quite the love story. He says he first met Amal at his house back in July 2013. A friend of his asked if they could bring along a friend while passing through Italy on their way to Cannes, and George happily agreed. A mutual friend of ours said, "I'm stopping by, can I bring my friend?" George remembered. And I was like, "Of course." Little did he know that this casual meetup would change his life forever. George's agent even called him afterward, urging him to take this new connection seriously. After that night, George and Amal spent hours chatting and bonding. They exchanged email addresses so Amal could send him some pictures, and before long, they were exchanging messages regularly. It didn't take long for George to realize that they weren't just going to be friends, and soon enough, they made plans for their first official date. In October 2013, they were spotted enjoying dinner at Berner's Tavern in London. George was there to record the score for Monuments Men at the legendary Abbey Road Studios. "That was a good first date," George shared with The Hollywood Reporter. "Pretty quickly, things escalated once I was in London." Their relationship blossomed, and they ended up spending Christmas that year together in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Then in February 2014, they went on a trip to Kenya for a safari, which turned out to be a major turning point for George. They visited the Giraffe Manor, which is Amal's favorite spot because she loves giraffes. Watching her play and smile with those beautiful animals made George realize that he wanted to spend his life with her. After that memorable trip, the couple continued to jet set around the globe, visiting the Seychelles and Tanzania before heading to New York City, where they stayed at the Carlyle Hotel. They were later spotted at Soho House in West Hollywood, further fueling the excitement around their romance. In April 2014, the big news hit. George had popped the question to Amal, but looking back, he would later call the proposal a bit of a disaster during his appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show. George had planned a super romantic evening, cooking dinner for Amal and all, but nothing went according to plan, turning the proposal into a 25-minute fiasco. "I did all the stuff, got down on one knee, and followed all the steps you're supposed to take. I even made a playlist with songs from my Aunt Rosemary Clooney. I was waiting for this specific song, Why Shouldn't I, to play. When it finally did, Amal just gasped, 'Holy shit!' She kept staring at the ring. And for 20 minutes, I was there on my knee waiting for her to say yes because she was so stunned. She only said yes when Goody Goody came on," George explained. Fast forward to September 9th, and George and Amal made their first public appearance as a couple at the Celebrity Fight Night charity event in Tuscany. George was awarded a humanitarian award and couldn't help but talk a bit about their upcoming wedding, while Amal proudly showed off her stunning 7-carat emerald-cut diamond engagement ring. On September 27th, the couple finally tied the knot in a cozy ceremony at the Amman Canal Grande Luxury Resort in Venice, Italy, a place that holds a special spot in their hearts. They tried to keep the wedding details under wraps to avoid the paparazzi and keep the day intimate, but news eventually leaked out. "We didn't tell anyone else about our plans, but somehow someone caught wind of it. Once the news got out, it became a big deal. We took a bus to Venice and then hopped on a boat, but as soon as we got on, there were tons of paparazzi and people waiting for us. As we sat there, I thought, why are we hiding? We shouldn't be ashamed of this. So we stood up and waved," George recalled. In October 2014, George and Amal decided to kick off their honeymoon in complete seclusion at their mansion in the English countryside. According to Us Weekly, they wanted total privacy, so much so that no one else was allowed on the property, not even family. The only exceptions were the caterers who delivered their meals. Fast forward to January 2015, when Amal joined George at the 72nd Annual Golden Globe Awards, where he was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award. This was their big moment on the red carpet as a married couple. Reflecting on married life in an interview a little later, George couldn't help but rave about how Amal had transformed his world. He admitted that she completely changed his perspective on what life could be. He had always been optimistic about the world, but he hadn't been so sure about his personal life until Amal came along. However, during a chat with CBS this morning, he confessed that he hadn't really thought much about having kids yet. "I don't really think about it," he said. "I mean, I've thought about it, but it hasn't been at the top of my list. I've been asked a lot lately because I just got married and I'm working on a movie with kids in it." Then in September 2016, George and Amal made headlines again when they attended a Leaders Summit for Refugees during the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly. They also celebrated their second wedding anniversary with a romantic dinner that George cooked himself on September 27th. When talking about their anniversary, he joked, "It's very big news. Very, very big celebration. Fireworks. Okay, I made dinner." Fast forward to February 9th, 2017, when Julie Chen revealed on The Talk that George and Amal were expecting twins. She mentioned that her husband had run into them and they casually dropped the news. Later that month, George shared his excitement. "We are really happy and really excited. It's going to be an adventure," he said in an interview with Laurent Weil on the French show Rencontre de Cinéma. A source shared with People back then that George was feeling both excited and a bit nervous about stepping into fatherhood. He was thrilled about having kids, but also worried about the usual nerves that come with becoming a parent, especially since they were expecting twins. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, George recounted the moment they found out about the twins. "The doctor goes, 'Well, there's one.' And I said, 'Great.' Then he adds, 'And there's the second one.' I was like, 'What?' We just sat there staring at that piece of paper, and I kept thinking there had to be a mistake." On June 6, 2017, George and Amal welcomed their little surprises, twins named Ella and Alexander. So how did George handle the new parenting gig? Stick around to find out. Even though he's a big-name celebrity, George isn't immune to the everyday struggles of parenting. At the Los Angeles premiere of The Boys in the Boat, he shared with People that he's trying out some clever tactics to encourage his twins to behave, especially around Christmas time. He mentioned that he gets a little help from the big guy in the red suit. Yep, Santa Claus, when the twins are misbehaving. Later that same month, George chatted with Michael Strawn on Good Morning America about raising twins and what surprised him the most. He said, "When you have twins and you're raising them at the same time, the same way, and they turn out to be completely different human beings, you realize just how little say you have in who they are. They come out with their own opinions, and it's amazing to see how different my kids' personalities are." These days, the Clooneys are pretty selective about the projects they take on, making sure that Alexander and Ella are always their top priority. George's twin children. The twins were born at St. Mary's Hospital in London, the same place where Prince William and Kate Middleton welcomed their children. Alexander is the older of the two, entering the world 1 minute and 49 seconds before his sister. He weighed in at 5 pounds and 8 ounces at birth, while Ella arrived approximately 2 minutes later, weighing 4 pounds and 8 ounces. Just as Alexander seems to have inherited his looks from George, Ella is a mini replica of Amal. "My daughter looks exactly like Amal," George told People a few months after her birth in 2017. "She has big, beautiful eyes, and it's incredible." Since the twins' arrival, the Clooneys have often spoken about their distinct personalities. Alexander is the more outgoing sibling, a fact humorously highlighted when he crashed his dad's interview with GQ in 2021. George shared on the WTF with Mark Moran podcast that his morning routine with Alexander often leaves him in stitches. "Every morning at 8, Alexander bangs on my bedroom door. I ask, 'Who is it?' And he replies, 'It is I, Alexander Clooney.'" Like many young boys, Alexander has a fascination with cars, which can sometimes lead to perilous situations. George recounted on The Ellen Show that his son loves to hug his car, exclaiming "car," as he does so, adding humorously, "It's really not good when I'm driving, he gets right in the wheel well." In contrast to her brother, Ella is described as more reserved and tends to be quite shy around adults. George shared with People in 2020 that while Alexander has developed a fascination for cars, Ella has taken on the role of a budding fashionista. Although the twins are growing into their unique personalities, George is dedicated to cherishing every moment while they still think he's cool. At the Kennedy Center Honors in 2022, where he was honored with an award, George humorously remarked to a reporter from Extra, They're 5, so right now I am golden. On September 28, 2023, George and Amal attended the 2023 Albies event, where they spoke with Access Hollywood about Ella and Alexander's latest interests. George revealed that despite lacking musical talent himself, his twins love to rock out. He went on to express his hopes and desires for them, saying, "I want them to be happy. I want them to have a sense of humor. I want them to be interested in things. I want them to be compassionate about other people's plights. Because that's the thing, you know? You have to have some sort of empathy." Many have found George's enthusiasm for fatherhood surprising, especially considering his past comments about not wanting children. He explained in an interview with Mark Moran that the decision to have kids came about a year into his marriage with Amal. During a walk at a friend's house, Amal reflected on how fortunate they were in life and expressed her belief that their luck should be shared with other folks. The couple is notably private about their family life and goes to great lengths to keep Ella and Alexander away from the public eye. During a 2020 appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, George humorously revealed that his twins speak Italian, a skill he and Amal jokingly used to their disadvantage. Much of the public insight into their relationship comes from George, who frequently shares anecdotes during press tours. However, in 2018, Amal opened up about her feelings for George in an interview with Vogue, sharing that she had believed she would be single for a long time. "It felt like the most natural thing in the world," she reflected on falling in love with him. "Before that experience, I always hoped there could be love that was overwhelming and didn't require any weighing or decision-making." Amal further expressed her love for George during a speech at the American Film Institute Life Achievement Award Gala in June, where he received the AFI Life Achievement Award. "I met George when I was 35 and starting to become quite resigned to the idea that I was going to be a spinster," she recalled. "Then we met and started hiding out in my London flat, and very soon it felt like no matter what happened, I would never want to be with anyone else." By May 2019, George Clooney had comfortably embraced his role as a family man, sharing his experience of celebrating his 58th birthday on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He described the day saying, "I turned 58, nothing's fun, I had a good day though. My wife and I had dinner, just the two of us at home, which was really nice. We were very happy." However, like many couples, George and Amal faced challenges in their union, particularly during the COVID-19 lockdown. Isolating together, the family spent most of the year in their Los Angeles home, especially mindful of their son Alexander, who has asthma. Reflecting on the experience, George acknowledged the hardships faced by many, but felt fortunate to have a successful career and a spacious home for his family to navigate. Despite the difficulties, George revealed that they managed to get through the lockdown without conflict, noting, "I feel very lucky in so many ways to have met her. We haven't ever had an argument. You know, everybody's been slammed together because of the coronavirus, and a lot of friends' relationships have been tested. For us, it's been really easy," he shared in a profile with People. His comments sparked curiosity among fans about Amal, as they sought to understand the remarkable woman who captured the heart of one of Hollywood's most eligible bachelors. Who is Amal Clooney? Amal Clooney, who is married to the influential actor George Clooney, is a well-known human rights attorney who has had a substantial influence on the administration of justice on a global scale. She is well known for her advocacy for justice on a global scale, and she has a great track record in this area. Nadia Murad, who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts advocating for victims of sexual violence, was one of the high-profile clients that Amal has represented in the past. Amal is a visiting lecturer at Columbia Law School, where she shares her experience on important human rights concerns. In addition to her legal practice, she is also a visiting professor at Columbia State University. As a result of her work, she has garnered a significant amount of reputation in the fields of international law and human rights advocacy. Her work has involved taking on cases against world leaders who are suspected of committing war crimes. In addition, Amal provides legal counsel to both people and governments on topics that fall under her areas of expertise. At the moment, she is a member of the Task Force on Accountability for Crimes Committed in Ukraine, which is an organization that works to promote justice for victims of war crimes and abuses of human rights. In the process of gaining freedom for political prisoners all across the world, including journalists and opposition politicians, she has been a crucial figure. Most notably, she is the attorney representing Maria Ressa, a Filipino journalist who has won multiple awards and who is currently facing significant legal issues in the Philippines for her work. Amal was presented with the Gwen Phil Award by the Committee to Protect Journalists in the year 2020. This award was established in recognition of Amal's exceptional accomplishments in the field of press freedom. Her unwavering commitment to the cause of worldwide justice in conjunction with her high-profile marriage continues to captivate the American public and firmly establish her position in the media. It is clear that Amal Clooney is a prominent person in the fight for justice because of the tremendous efforts she has put forth and her dedication to solving vital issues that affect the entire world. In an interview with Time magazine that was published on March 2, 2020, Amal Clooney expressed her satisfaction in her marriage, while also sharing some insights about her life at home. It was her statement that marriage has been wonderful. "My husband is a partner who is extremely motivating and encouraging, and our home is full with love and laughter. I am grateful to have him as my partner." As Amal reflected on the happiness she had experienced as a parent to her twin children, Ella and Alexander, she described the experience as being even more lovely than she had anticipated it to be. A profound sense of appreciation for the role of mother was communicated by her. The couple has a strong desire to make their Italian house their primary abode among their twin children, who are 6 years old. They spend a large amount of time there currently. In July of 2023, there were reports that indicated that they were preparing to migrate to their house on Lake Como, which they believe to be an oasis and consider to be the highlight of their year. In spite of the fact that George and Amal Clooney look to be the ideal couple, recent occurrences have reportedly caused difficulties for their marriage, which appears to be in good standing. They made a commitment to each other that they would never stay apart for more than a week after they tied the knot in September of 2014. Despite this, it has been challenging for them to keep their vow because of the demanding nature of their employment. With anonymous individuals stating that they are living more separate lives and spending 90% of their day in distinct realms, In Touch reports that there are concerns about fissures in their marriage. These sources allege that they are living their lives in different worlds. As reported by In Touch, the actor George Clooney, who won an Academy Award for his work, declared in 2021 that his family is his top priority and that he would no longer feel the need to act once he reached the age of 60. However, contrary to what he has stated, the filmmaker, who is now 63 years old, has just recently begun filming another movie with Adam Sandler in Italy. This comes after he worked on The Boys in the Boat and Wolf in New York City alongside his longtime buddy Brad Pitt. The publication made the observation that George manages his filmmaking operations with the same level of precision as a military general. He is responsible for directing, producing, and acting in the creative endeavors of other individuals. It is not just George Clooney who appears to be letting his professional life to take precedence over his personal life. His wife, Amal Clooney, who is a human rights lawyer and is 46 years old, is also quite busy. Amal is well known for her expertise in human rights, and she frequently goes overseas for client meetings. Additionally, she is actively involved in worldwide projects that are frequently overlooked by the general public. Her time is divided between London, where she interacts with clients, and The Hague, which is located in the Netherlands, and is the location of the International Criminal Court. At recent times, she has been working on a project at The Hague with other international legal professionals for a period of exactly 4 months. There have been reports that indicate the pair is starting to feel the pressure that their demanding occupations are causing them. It has been claimed that George is concerned about the growing gap between them, with concerns that they are moving toward a relationship more akin to that of roommates rather than in the romantic sense. It was an indication of his wish to reconnect with Amal that he was observed clutching her tightly during a date night in Italy in the month of August. According to a source, George has recently begun to see the significance of devoting more time to Amal. He has also acknowledged that the age gap between them is a concern, and he has realized that he must prioritize their relationship in order to prevent the possibility of losing her. According to the information that has been gathered, George, who is now in his 60s, has been a little anxious about how he appears these days. Due to the fact that he has always been considered one of the most gorgeous men in Hollywood, the fact that the years are finally catching up with him is giving him a creepy feeling. On the other hand, you shouldn't be concerned because he is not giving up on his marriage. he is reportedly exerting a great deal of effort to maintain a healthy relationship with Amal, according to reports. They are making their relationship a top priority by going on long walks together after dinner and having romantic lunches together when they are together. It has been reported by a source that George is keen to restore the spark that once existed between them. Amal has been the recipient of a number of delightful surprises from him, including the delivery of her favorite croissants and breakfast in bed, as well as the gift of gorgeous perfumes with him. There is no doubt that the proverb "happy wife, happy life" has turned into his personal motto. His dedication was made very clear during Amal's most recent birthday celebration. It is possible that the couple became so preoccupied with their significant move that they began to take each other for granted for a period of time. In an effort to reignite the spark that initially brought them together, they made the decision to mix things up and relocate to the breathtaking region of Provence in France. From there, Amal would be able to celebrate her birthday in grand fashion. On the occasion of her 46th birthday, George presented her with a very cute St. Bernard puppy that they named Nelson. It was seen that they were taking their new furry companion for a trip in the picturesque medieval town of Cotignac. Amal is seen in some photographs attempting to persuade Nelson to follow her, while in others she is shown humorously laboring to carry him from one place to another. While George opted for a more laid-back approach by wearing jeans and a navy polo shirt, Amal was looking absolutely stunning in a mini dress made of suede with a belt and some beautiful black stiletto boots. Before going to Picot restaurant for lunch with their pals, they even made a brief detour to see a nearby art gallery where they had previously been. George is able to go all out to guarantee that he and Amal have a wonderful time together, since he does not have to worry about their financial situation when it comes to preparing special dates or surprises for Amal. To continue with this topic, how much wealth does George Clooney actually possess? The wealth of George Clooney is projected to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million, as stated by Celebrity Net Worth. This statistic is not officially confirmed, but it makes perfect sense when one considers the fact that he has appeared in a large number of critically acclaimed films such as Ocean's 11 and Michael Clayton. In addition, he has generated a significant amount of revenue through the sale of his tequila brand, Casamigos, as well as through a variety of partnerships and endorsements. To put it another way, it is quite evident that George, along with his wife Amal and their two children, Alexander and Ella, are fully prepared for life. I would like to make a brief observation regarding George's romantic history. He has been married twice. Despite the fact that he is currently in a happy marriage to Amal, he was previously in a relationship with the actress Talia Balsam. After a marriage that lasted for 4 years, they decided to end it and go their own ways by getting a divorce. In the event that you are interested, we can have a look at the history of the relationship between George Clooney and Talia Balsam, George's previous marriage. The publication Vanity Fair claims that George Clooney and Talia Balsam first became acquainted with one another in 1984 when they were both performing in a local theater. George, who was only 23 years old at the time, was attempting to build out a major acting career, and Talia, who was 25 years old, was also along the same route. Having a mother who was an actress named Joyce Van Patten and a father who was an actor named Martin Balsam, Talia was a member of a remarkable family that had a long history of success in the entertainment industry. They experienced both highs and lows throughout their relationship. They broke up after dating for a while, although they did not remain apart for an extended period of time. At some point, they were able to get back together, and George proposed to her. As a way of publicly expressing their affection for one another, they exchanged their vows in a lavish ceremony held in Las Vegas in December of 1989. On the other hand, their marriage did not endure the test of time, and it was stated that George filed for divorce in the latter part of the year 1992. After some time had passed, he realized that the failure of the marriage was his fault, and that he had not given Talia a chance to succeed. The explanation that George provided was that Talia had never done anything wrong, and that he was simply not prepared to put in the effort to make things work. George provided this explanation in a number of interviews, including one with the Los Angeles Times in 1997. His doubt over whether or not he would be able to have children was one of his primary concerns at the moment. Following the breakup of his marriage, George made some sarcastic remarks about marriage, making fun of his own capabilities as a spouse. Their connection appeared to be genuine, despite the fact that they had broken up. George once stated to Vanity Fair in 1996 that he married the one person he truly loved. And even after the divorce, neither he nor Talia has said anything negative about each other at any point in time. The actresses Nicole Kidman and Michelle Pfeiffer made a joke wager of $10,000 each that George would have children by the time he turned 40. This wager was made after George and Talia had terminated their relationship. George gave a response stating that although many believed he detested children, he truly cherished them the most. As soon as he was 40 years old, Nicole fulfilled her promise to him and sent him a piece of paper. George, on the other hand, did not accept it and instead made a cheeky offer to have his 50-year-old birthday celebrated with double or nothing. After establishing the Clooney Foundation for Justice in 2016, George and Amal Clooney made a stunning appearance at the Albies on September 26th. The Albies was an event that was held in support of the foundation. During the occasion, George couldn't help but show his admiration for Amal by declaring, "I would support anything my wife is involved in." This was in response to the question of how much his wife's support meant to him. Amal responded to the remark by saying, "He is an incredible advocate, and it just means so much to me to be able to do this work together and for him to help bring to life some of the stories that we are telling tonight." Amal shared this information with People. Before going inside, the pair made a pose on the red carpet, looking extremely lovely in their black tie clothing. They then went inside. Amal looked very stunning in a Versace gown made of sleek black velvet, which she combined with minimal jewelry and a strong red lip. George, on the other hand, looked absolutely stunning in a traditional black tuxedo and a bow tie. They were obviously having a good time together, as seen by their beaming smiles for the cameras. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to check out the next video that appears on your screen.